Yeah. Yeah. There's some hope. Oh, absolutely. And some of those dogs have had opportunities to rehearse these behaviors in another way. So somebody may have left the dog in the backyard, but the dog's chasing stuff or whatever it's doing, and some aspect of that prey drive is being developed, right? It can, of course, be channeled onto the wrong thing, right? So I have an 8-year-old rescue corgi right now that I got recently, and she should play, like everything about her. She's super zippy, tons of motivation, like crazy to chase critters like you can't imagine. Like she has amazing prey drive, but zero interest in toys. She grew up on a farm, nobody ever played with her. I almost guarantee that if you have her from a puppy, she plays with toys, no doubt, right? But at 8 years old, never having looked at those, she just doesn't look at them in the same way. They're not in there in that sense. And so I've spent some time encouraging it, zero interest, right? But a critter runs around, she's like a rocket. She's all after it, right? And so you see a lot of that kind of thing. So it's not without hope, it's just much better if you've encouraged some of this when they're young. The other thing about it is lots of people in the early stages, the early play is important, especially for our working dogs, which brings up the question, of course, like why do we play with dogs at all, right? And when you talk to pet dog people, if you're a pet dog trainer, you're gonna have a hard time convincing. Playing with dogs is not easy. And when you talk to a lot of pet dog owners and you say like, hey, we wanna teach your dog to play, a lot of them are like, why? I like it when my dog's chill. I don't like him when he's excited. When I get him playing, then he wants to jump on me and he wants to do all this. Why would I do that, right? What's the point? But that's a lot of effort for what, right? And so in sports circles, everybody says, of course you play with your dog, right? Because we use it. So play is a potential reward for behavior. And that's where the sport dog people look at it. Anybody that's training competitive disciplines of any kind, or search dogs, or detection dogs, or police dogs, or any of the working disciplines, we use play as a reward for behavior. So obviously we've been talking about creating these reward events. Well, play is one of those. I can get my dog to play, ball, tug, whatever, and then we can use it to reinforce behavior. Your dog does something, you give them their toy, they're happy to do it. And the intensity for play can be quite a bit higher in many dogs than the intensity for food. We'll talk about this in a second. And so a reward is one. But if you're teaching a pet dog who isn't doing any complicated behaviors, you don't need a really high value reward. So they're thinking, why do I do it? Well, the second reason we do it is exercise, right? So you need to exercise your dog. Dogs need exercise just like we do for health, for energy management. It's a huge deal. Like living with a dog that's not getting enough exercise is a pain in the neck. They invent games that you don't like. They're destructive, they're bored, they do other things. So exercise is not only physically important to the dog, but also mentally important to the dog, and it makes a dog much easier to live with. I can exercise my dog in a lot of different ways. I could exercise my dog by cutting it loose in a field and letting it chase rabbits. I could exercise it by taking it to the dog park and let it chase other dogs around. But all those forms of exercise have nothing to do with me and are somewhat unproductive in certain cases. If I let my dog chase critters, then my dog wants to chase critters and is unlikely to listen to me. If I let my dog play with other dogs all the time, they're getting exercise, but then they're interested in dogs and not me. So we choose to exercise our dogs with interactive games, things that the dogs do with me. So then I get the benefit of the exercise as well as the benefit of the relationship building aspect. If my dog plays with me, then my dog wants to pay attention to me and do things with me, etc. And so there's a relationship building component. And then the final reason that we would play with our dogs, and maybe the most important one in my mind, and the one that's often overlooked, is that play is a great laboratory for teaching dogs to listen to you in high states of arousal when they get excited. People tell you all the time as a dog trainer, my dog listens great when there's nothing going on. If they're in the backyard, when they're calm, they listen beautifully. But if they go out and they see something, they get excited, they don't listen to me at all anymore, right? And how do you teach a dog to listen to you in an excited state unless you can put them in an excited state during the teaching phase? And you want to have control of that. And so instead of letting the world throw these opportunities at you, you can create one. So if my dog likes to play ball, then I can get my dog excited with the ball and teach him to sit and down and wait and come, etc. So you can see when I played with Monk at the end of the day yesterday, he's playing, but there's a lot of control involved in that. He has to let go, he has to wait, there's impulse control, he has to do obedience in the midst of all that. And so now I have a dog that's in a very high state of arousal, super jacked up, but he's listening. And then later, I have a much better chance of transferring those behaviors to other real world behaviors. If my dog can be chasing a ball and I can down him on the way or call him off before he gets there, then I have a much better chance of downing my dog when it goes to chase a bicyclist or a squirrel, or have my dog sit or down or come when it sees another dog and it's excited, right? So it's not a perfect carryover, but you have a much better chance. And play is beautiful that way. I have control of it. I can control the level of arousal, how stimulated I get the dog, and I can use it for teaching. So it's incredibly useful as we go through these whole things to teach that.